I once again welcome you all to the day one of Zoho Creator training series, and today is the first session of Zoho Creator. Get to know Zoho Creator C6. Okay, and I'm Surendra Manoj. I'll be the host for today's session. Let's get started with a few points which are to be announced. All the attendees of the session will be placed on mute. If you have any questions, please do use the questions tab which is available on the left hand side. Our co-trainers will be actively answering all those questions. Okay. Please use the questions tab for your questions and have the chat section for any announcements or comments which you want to make. A recording of this session will be sent to all the attendees. Please do participate in the polls and surveys which we are initiating during the session as well as after the session. The feedbacks which you are providing us will be very helpful for us to regulate the flow of current session as well as to understand our upcoming sessions in a better manner. So let's get started with day one of the 5-day training series on Get to Know Zoho Creator 6 version. And let's start with the agenda of day one. So we'll be starting our day with an introduction to Creator 6. We'll be also discussing about what are the environments which are available in C6, and followed by we'll be having a detailed discussion on demo users. We'll be having a live demo in par with the presentation. We'll be doing the presentation and live demo parallelly. It will not be at the end. Towards the end of the session, we'll be leaving the session open so that we can have a Q&A session where me and our co-trainers will be actively answering all the queries and doubts you have regarding C6. Okay, so let's get started with an introduction to C6. So far, when we are talking about Zoho Creator, the first thing that comes to mind is a powerful low-code application builder. Right? So with the adaptation of Deluge inside Creator, we were able to bring up very complex business logics into the system. But when we are trying to tap into that enterprise market, we need to provide this market with something more than application builder. So Creator evolved itself from application builder to complex low-code solution builder. So where we can provide end-to-end solutions and have multiple environments which can manage the development process. We have a powerful combination of analytics and integration using Flow, which helps us to tightly integrate or make every SaaS products which we own work together. And we also have a centralized location where we can manage the application features and users management. And we also have multiple environments like development, staging, and production, which can help us to manage the development process from the scratch to the point where we are exposing our applications to the end users. Okay, and we also have the facilities to maintain multiple versions in the staging environment. Earlier, we used to have these concepts in sandbox where we used to build multiple components and we publish the components one by one based on the completion level. Right? We have brought in those to the next level where we can publish our component, publish our application entirely to multiple environments and process them individually without disturbing one another. So coming to the features of C6, we have three major features available. One is the environments, which is having development environment, staging environment, and production environment. The development environment is mostly focused on the developers who are working on the application development, and we also have admins and super admins who may act as the mediators. They admins have to create the application and they have to add developers in case they want to remove or mediate any of the users. That is where the admin part comes in. And but most of the part in development will be handled by the developers, where they'll be building applications from scratch. Okay. Then it is moved to the staging environment where we are exposing the application just developed to the internal users so that they can test it properly and to and make sure that the application which has been developed is producing the intended result before we are exposing that to the end users. And the production environment is the location where we are exposing our application to the end users and they can access our application based on the permission sets and roles which has been assigned to them. And these environments are there for better management of the application development. So with this, we can say the development environment can act on its own without disturbing the staging or without disturbing the production, and same with the other environments as well. Okay. And the applications which we are building with Zoho Creator, it is highly empowered with the advance of Zoho Flow and Zoho Analytics. As we know, Zoho Flow is a low-code integration builder which can integrate our Creator application with other SaaS-based products, let it be Zoho's ecosystem or outside Zoho's ecosystem. Okay. And Zoho Analytics is another artificial intelligence enabled low code business application, business intelligence application, which can provide us with highly intuitive ZIA enabled dashboards, which can consume data from multiple sources and produce us better results. Okay. And we also have the app features and the users who can be managed from one centralized location. So earlier we used to have this concept like we have to get into a particular application and do the user management over there. We will be assigning users with permissions and we'll be assigning them with roles, and these were pertinent to application level. But when we are trying to integrate when we are trying to associate one single user with multiple applications, okay, so getting into each and every application and identifying the impact or identifying the role of that particular user in that application and making those changes, that was a big tedious process. So what we did is we brought everything into one centralized location where we can add a particular user and we can assign multiple applications to that user with various permission sets and various roles. In case we want to upgrade that user to a next level, it is very easy. We can simply go ahead and provide appropriate permission sets to that particular user from one single location, and we can also understand the impact or the influence of that particular user in all the applications available inside that workspace. Okay. So, coming to the components of C6, we have three major components. One is development, deploying, and managing. These are the three major components of C6. So, coming to the entire ecosystem, understanding what are the components which are available in the entire ecosystem, we can say development consists of two parts: solutions and microservices. Deployment has three subcomponents associated to it: environments, mobile, and portal. And coming to management, it has five components: users, organization, governance, operation, and monitoring. So this users is the centralized location where we have the option to manage the entire users in a one single place. We can also assign multiple applications to this user. We can provide them with various roles and permission sets based on the role they are playing in the application. Okay. So let us discuss a bit detail about the solutions. Okay. So while we are talking about solutions, we have three options. Either we can create applications in the solution, or we can establish an integration between Zoho Creator, between the application which we have built in Zoho Creator and SaaS-based product, or we can go ahead and build a BI-based analytics solution which can consume data from multiple sources and produce us with a intuitive business analytic report. Okay, so talking about the business process creator, right? So we already have this concept called blueprint, which can automate the business processes which are happening inside Zoho Creator application. So we are working on robotic process creator. It's a work in progress. It will be available in the later parts of the later versions of Creator 6. So coming to microservices, we have connections, data source, and AI models. We'll be discussing about microservices in detail in tomorrow's session. And in today's session, we'll be discussing in detail about solutions, and even in solutions, especially, we'll be talking about applications. Okay, we have separate sessions for integration, and we have separate sessions for analytics as well, and we have one separate session for management. Everything is happening in the same sequence. And we'll be also discussing about environments, how these environments are being configured, what are the purpose these environments are being brought into the system, and how these environments are helping us to uh, regulate the application development cycle. Okay, so let us talk about solution. The home page of Creator 6. So the home page of Creator 6 has these four components associated to it. The first one is workspace, and then develop, deploy, and manage. So we saw in detail about the develop, deploy, and manage. What are the features which are available? So coming to workspace, right? Workspace is like whenever I'm added as a developer to a particular application, I'll be having that particular workspace will be getting displayed in my dashboard. So in case if that application, if that workspace has been if that workspace has exposed me with two different applications, so the moment I choose that workspace, I'll be able to see two applications. So it's like easily I can manage all the applications which has been shared with me. Then comes the develop, deploy, and manage. So talking about solutions, these are the major components which are available in solutions. As we discussed, we have apps creator, we have integration creator, and we have analytics creator, and we have business process creator. And this business process creator is already available inside apps creator. So we'll be taking a detailed look at these components, and let me take you to the live mode of the dashboard and show you how these components are arranged in Zoho Creator's new version. So this is the live mode of my dashboard. The moment I say creator.zoho.com, so this is the landing page where I can see all the applications and integrations and analytics which has been created by me. And if I want to take a look at the applications which has been shared with me, I can go ahead and choose the appropriate workspace. And from this workspace, I can see all the applications which has been shared with me. So this is about the workspace. And then comes the develop section where we have the option to build our applications or build integrations or analytics. If I go ahead and click on create solution, I've been provided with three options. Either I can create an application, or I can create an analytics tool, or I can create an integration tool. So if a user is coming in for the first time and they are not having any, and they have already have their own analytics and integration account, and they can map those accounts directly to a create to C6 version. They don't have to create a new account in those. Okay, and so the next step is if you get into application creation, we have the same. Although the UI has changed, the options are being almost the same. We can create an application from scratch, or we can pick one from a pre-built gallery, or we can import a particular file. So if we talk about picking from gallery, it is having a portfolio of applications which has been already built by Zoho team. If the requirement is meeting the customer's need as it is, they can simply go ahead and download any of these applications and start using it. Even in case they want to enhance that application, it's very well they can go ahead and enhance the application and make use of it. Okay, so let us talk about the application building. So let's start building one from scratch. Okay, and for now I'm leaving this enable environment as it is. So let me go. Let me create a order management application over here. Order management. So in this order management, what we are going to do, we are going to collect the information of the customers. We are going to collect the uh, we are going to have the inventory details, and we are going to process the orders. And based on the orders which are getting processed, we will be updating our inventory as well. Okay, so let's get started with this application. I'm not adding this application to any of the environment as of now. So let's go ahead and create our first form. And this is the form where I'll be collecting the customer details. So let me put it as customers. Uh, and let me create the form here. So in this form, what we are going to do is we are just going to collect the basic details like name, email address, phone number, and uh, the address of that particular customer. So let me go ahead and get the name, email, address, and phone number. Okay, and name, email address, and phone number. And sorry, we have phone number twice. Let me get the address over here. So let's go ahead and create one more form for inventory. Let me create a form from scratch, and we call it as inventory. Go ahead and create a form. So in this, the first field which we are going to get is the item name, and we are going to get the available quantity, and we will be also having the price. So let me construct these forms. Let's say name, name, so item name. Let's start with item name and available quantity. and followed by the price. So let us go ahead and create our next form, which is the inventory or which is the order processing form. Okay. So let me create the order processing form. Order processing form, create it from scratch, and let's say order processing. Create the form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate the order with a particular customer. So let me establish a lookup relationship between the customer form and the order processing form, and we'll have a sub form saying, okay, so these are the items which the customer wants to buy. So let's go ahead and establish a lookup, and I choose from customers form and I choose the name of the customer, and then we come for the subform. So for this example, we'll be using a blank subform. In case you want to use the existing subform, yes, it's possible. You can go ahead and use the existing subform. All these features are common as what we have with C5. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a few fields here. I'm going to add a drop down and populate all the inventory items which are available, so that we don't have to type in the inventory name. We can simply choose, and the related details of that particular item is populated automatically. So let me go ahead and create the drop down and we call this item name, and it's followed by uh, the available quantity. We should know how much quantity is available, and we should also know the price of that particular product, and we also should know what is the required quantity for that customer, so that so let's go ahead and say this is the required quantity, and we'll be having a subtotal will be the product of price and the required quantity. Okay, so let's say it is available quantity, and let's go with the price, required quantity, and let's go with the subtotal. So we can add more fields as well. We can add more fields in the main form and calculate all the subtotal and populate them. But for this demonstration, I'm going to stop as it is here. We'll rename the subform as order details. So now we have three forms. I'll make one more change. I'll get into the customer order processing, and I'll allow the add new option, so that we don't have to get into the customer form every time I want to add a new customer. So I'll say add customer. So now we have created our application. So let us go ahead and add this application to the environment and pass on this application to multiple environments. So let me get into creator.zoho.com again. So where I'll be taken to my dashboard. So give it a second, it's getting loaded. So here we can see environments. So this environment has three different stages. One is development, production, and stage. Okay. So we have multiple ways to add the application to environments. We can simply go to the solutions and choose our application, order management mode, and we can add it to environment from here. Or we had a checkbox at the starting where it says add environment. We left it unchecked. Okay. Or we can get into the summary of the application, and we can add it to environment over here. So let me get into the environment and add it from here. Then I can go ahead and add the application. I'll be adding order management. So right now we can see order management has been added to environment, but we have not created the development environment yet. We have to go and create the development environment. So based on the timing or based on the size of the application, sometimes it may take a few minutes. to create a development environment. So that is the notifications you are seeing here. So let me go ahead and create this environment, and if we reload, probably it will be created. It's a very small application. Uh, so development creation is in process. In a few minutes, a few seconds, it will be created. So once the development has been created, we will be able to see multiple. We'll be able to see multiple environments, and each of these environments has its own set of characteristics. Okay. So let me reload it one more time to see if the development has been created. So here you can see the development has been created, and it is saying, okay, there's no change which is available. So if I get into the options, I have three environments, and these are the options which are available in all the three environments. So the first environment is development, where I have edit option, access option, setting, and logs. So this edit is the one which allows me to build or allows me to get into the edit mode of the application and start building the components. Okay, and access, we have three access. One is development access, staging access, and production access. Since we don't have any version in the staging here, this staging option has been disabled. If once we move our version to the staging, we can see this option getting enabled, and we have settings only to development and stage, and the production doesn't have any settings, and this settings is where we will be configuring the notifications and demo users. We can see the logs of each and every environment individually, so that we don't confuse the live log and the development logs with each other. Okay, so let me get into the edit mode of the application. So right now we can see there are no changes available. So there is only version which is available in development and production. So there's one other thing. So when we are adding a application to the environment, right, by default there's a replica of it created in production. Okay. So but after that, whatever changes we are making, we can move those changes from development to stage, test it over there, and then move it to production. I'll be showing you. I'll be writing a few workflows, and I'll be moving the application from development to stage, and I'll show you how this is getting done. So let me get into the development edit mode. Here you can see now, after I have added this application to the environment, we have three access. One is development live, one is stage live, and another one is production live. So this development live is meant for developers to check the progress of their application. They can understand how the application they are building is being happening. So the staging live is where the testing process happens. They can access the application in the test mode, and they can test whether the application is producing the intended result. If they have any bug, or if any of the process is not happening as it is supposed to happen, the same can be conveyed to the developers and it can get fixed. And then comes a production live. The production live is the live which has been exposed to the end users. They will be given a few permission sets, and based on the permission sets, they will be having the option to access the application and perform the tasks. So let me access the development live as well here. I'll get access it in the new tab. So let's go ahead and write a few workflows. So the first workflow what we are going to write is to populate this drop down in the subform. So when I open the form builder, so this item name, this drop down has to be populated based on the values which are available in the inventory form, right? So let's go ahead and write a few workflows for that. I'll open one more edit access. So let's go ahead and write a workflow. Give it a second. Okay. So let me go and create a workflow, and I'll say on the order processing. Every time I add a new row to the subform, I want this drop down to be populated. Okay. So I'll say populate drop down, and let me go ahead and create it. I'm adding a new action here. So let me zoom in. So what we'll do is we'll just fetch all the item names which is available in the inventory form, and then populate that list to the drop down which is available in the sub form. So let's go ahead and start doing the fetch task. Fetch is equal to from the inventory form. Okay, where we will say I want all the items. So the condition for that is ID which is not equal to 0, and we'll be getting the item name dot get out. So what we are doing now, what we have is we have all the item names in the form inventory in the form of a list. The fetch is a list. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to populate this fetch into the drop down, which is the item name. So what we are going to do is row dot item name. Since this drop down is inside the subform, we have to note if we have to denote that particular field for every row in that subform. So that is why we are saying row dot instead of input dot. If the same drop down is in main form, we would have noted it down as input dot. Okay. So row dot item name UI dot add of fetch. So now we have written the workflow which populates the item name on addition of every row. So the next workflow which we are going to write is to populate the details like available quantity and price of that particular application. Okay. So let's go ahead and type one more workflow. So order processing, creator, editor, or user input of the field item name. So we are going to get the details like the quantity which is available and the price which is set for that particular item. So let's go ahead and write the workflow. Populate detail. Again, what we are going to do is we are going to fetch the details from the inventory form and then populate that inside the subform. So let's say fetch is equal to from the inventory form. Sorry, the inventory form where item name is equal to row dot item name, and so row dot available quantity equal to fetch dot available quantity, and row dot price equal to fetch dot price. So now the moment we choose the item name, we will be getting the available quantity and the price. Okay. So let's go ahead and test this. I'm updating it. So far everything is in development, right? So let me get into the developments access. So I'll reload this one more time. So we'll start with the inventory. We can add the customers from the order processing form. So inventory name. Let us put the name of the item as A, and the available quantity be 100 and the price be 10. Okay. And let us put the item name as B, and the available quantity be 100 and the price be 20. And let us go ahead and put the item name as C, and the available quantity be 100 and the price be 30. So right now we have three items in our inventory, and let's go ahead and do the same with our order. Let us populate it in our order form. So let's go ahead and choose a customer. We don't have a customer. Let's add a customer here. We'll say Surendra, Manoj, and email be surendra.sr@zoho.com. And the mobile number, let me give a dummy mobile number. And let the address be address 1, address 2, um, Victorian, and state BTN. So let me go ahead and submit. Add the details of the customer. So we have the customer here. Let's go ahead and add the details. So right now we can see our drop down has been populated, and once I choose the particular value or particular item name, the available quantity and the price is being populated automatically. So here you can see B, and here you can see C. So all the details are being populated. Now let us go ahead and move this version. So far we have created a working version of this order management, right? Let us move this version to staging. So let me get into my dashboard. Let me reload it. So here you can see right now there's no change available. Once I reload it, you can see the system will be reflecting that saying, okay, there are a few changes which are available. So let me go ahead and publish. I'll publish these new changes which I have made to the staging area. Okay. So getting into stage, I can choose the application which I'm going to publish to stage, and I'm proceeding. So when I'm proceeding, you can see all the changes which has been made. In the order processing, we have made a few changes at the workflow level, and in this we have added a few workflows to it. So these are updates and these are the new additions. So let me go ahead and select all the changes which has been made. Zooming out. Okay, just zoom out. Okay, so I have selected all the changes and I'm going to publish these changes to the stage. Okay. So let me go ahead and proceed. While I'm publishing, there are a few components which I have done custom. So the first one is the title. So this title allows us to understand what are the changes we have made. So let us say added workflow, and so we can also give a description. I'm adding the same title as the description here, and we have the next one, which is the we have to define whether this particular version is holding major changes associated to this, or is it like very minor changes or bug fix? Okay. Depending on this choice which we are making, our version will be changing. So if it's a major change, our version will be incrementing like 1.0 to 2.0. If it's a minor change, our version will be implementing from 1.0 to 1.1 rather than 2.0. So that's how the normally the version conversion happens. And we also have an option for email notification. We can add a few emails which to which we have to say, okay, once this publish has happened, once this version has been successfully published to stage, please to notify. Okay, we can have a set of email addresses. For now, by default, it is taking my account email address. Okay, so let me go ahead and publish this version to stage. So if I go to environments, we can see there will be a version on published. So you can see the version 1.0 is on progress. It has been successfully published. Since the application is very small, the publish process happens so quick. If it is a bit bigger, it may take some time. Okay. So let me reload. You can see we'll be having version 2.0 in the stage, but the version 1.0 is still in production. Okay. So by this, we can test the version 2.0 to the core, and we can find out if there's any bug which is available, or if we have to make any enhancements before releasing the version which we have developed uh, to the production system. Okay. Uh, so now let us go ahead and make a few other enhancements to the same development environment to understand how we can maintain multiple versions in the staging area. Okay. So now what we have done is we have written two workflows, which one which can calculate the one which can populate the drop down, and another one which can populate the item detail. So let us go ahead and add one more workflow to it. Let us go ahead and say once I'm giving this required quantity, I want to calculate the product of price and required quantity and populate that in the subtotal. Okay. So let us write a workflow for that. So getting into new workflow, data editor on user input of the field, and I'm going to put that as required quantity. So what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the subtotal. I will say calculate subtotal. Let's go ahead and create the workflow here. Add a new action. Let me zoom in. So what we are going to do is we are going to multiply the price field in the subform with that, but with the required quantity, and populate that in the price. So uh, row dot subtotal is equal to row dot required quantity, which is multiplied by row dot price. So this is one workflow. What we have done is we have written saying, okay, so I'm going to multiply these two field and populate that. And what we can also do, we can write one more workflow saying, okay, on successfully placing the order, I want to update the inventory as well, right? So let me go ahead and create a new workflow on successful submission. Let's say update inventory, update inventory. Let's create it. Create a new action, and let us say I want to do a delivery script, and we are going to update all the values in the inventory form. So let's say fetch is equal to, okay, so for each element in the subform, for each element in the subform order details, what we are going to do is we are going to get the item name and reduce the available quantity. Okay, so fetch is equal to, from the inventory form, we'll say item name is equal to element, sorry, ele dot item name. So all the items which are available in the subform, we are going to get them one by one and get the record in the inventory form, and we are going to update the available quantity. Fetch dot available quantity equal to fetch dot available quantity minus le dot required quantity. So whatever quantity which is required by the customer is going to get reduced from the available quantity in the inventory form. So we have updated it. Let us go ahead and test the same in the development phase. Okay. So let me go ahead and reset. I'll choose a customer, Surendra Manoj, and let's choose the item name A, and the required quantity be 5. So we have the subtotal. Let me go ahead and choose the next item, and let the required quantity be 6, and the third item, and the required quantity be 7. So here we can see we based on the required quantity, our subtotal has been auto calculated, and once I submit it, okay. So the next time I'm trying to place the order, let us try it, and A. Here you can see the available quantity has been shown as 95. So if we go for B, and the inventory has been reduced. Okay, so here you can see the available quantity is from 100, it has been reduced to 95, 94, and 93, which is the required quantity of the previous user. Okay, so let us now move this particular version, the new changes to another version in stage. Okay, so let me get into environments. If I go ahead and reload it, we can see the changes which we have made in the development being reflecting over here. Okay, so now we can see we have the changes reflecting. Let us publish this one more time and let us see how both the versions are available. Okay, so let us get into publish and getting into stage order management. If we proceed, we can see all the changes which we have made. So in this version, we have made two changes. One is to calculate the subtotal, and one is to update the inventory. We have added two workflows. Let me select all and proceed it. So this is not just a major version change, right? So what I'll say is I just say it's a minor update which I have made, and so let's say update the inventory, and we'll just do the same for description as well. So you can have a different description. I'm just doing it for the speed. And here you can see the version. Since it's a minor version, it's been migrated from 2.0 to 2.1 rather than moving into 3. Okay. So and it has a default email notification. Just go ahead and publish it. So if we get into environments, here you can see there is the version 2.1 public is on queue. Okay, so we can see the version 2.1 is published. If I reload, so here we can see we have version 2.1 available, right? So right now we can decide which version we want to publish to the users first. So to the production environment, when we go to publish and we try to publish this, we can see both the versions are available. So if the version 2.0 is supposed to be published first and then the version 2.1 is to be published, we can go ahead and do it individually. Or if we say, okay, I'm going to publish the 2.1, the version 2.0 is going to be published along with version 2.1. Because without the version 2.0, the changes made in 2.1 will not be of any impact. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish the version 2.0 to stage or 2.0 to production. Okay. So when we are moving this version to production, we have two options. Okay. The first one is we can publish the application immediately. So let us say there's a show-stopping issue, which is making the application, which is making the users not able to use the application, or it is very critical that it has to be fixed immediately. We can publish it immediately. But there is an option where we can schedule the publish. Okay, here we have the option to publish later, where we can schedule the time and date in which we are going to publish, along with the time zone to which that time belongs. So let us say our application, our users are actively using the application during morning 9 a.m. to evening 6 p.m. Okay, so we don't want our users to get disturbed while we are making a version publish, right? So what we can do is we can choose a less active time for the application and push our publish. So that, and we can also give a heads up to our users saying, see, so this is the time we are making so and so changes. And so if you there may be some dependencies with the older one, some features we may deprecate. We can allow the users to get prepared for those kind of setup, rather than just simply going and saying, okay, so these features won't work from today. Okay, so let us go ahead and publish the version 2.0 to stage. So I think there is some error. Normally, it gets published to the stage right away. So let me go ahead and cancel it. So I'll change. I'll try to publish this Zilker vehicle management to the production. I think there's some issue out here. So let me go ahead and publish to production. Uh, okay, first I have to publish it to stage. Okay, so let me go and publish it to stage, and I'll add. So it's V1. I'll give the same. So let's go ahead and publish. It got published to the staging area. I I don't know what happened over here. We may have to troubleshoot it later. After the session, I'll be troubleshooting. If you face any such issue, do let us know. We'll try to troubleshoot from us. Okay, so this has been published to stage. Let me reload it. So here we can see we have a version in stage, and let's go ahead and publish that to production. And let us publish it at the go. So now we can see the application is being the publishing of this application is on queue. Within a few minutes, since it's a very small application, the publish happens most immediately. So if I reload it, we can see the version 2.0 is being live in the production environment. Okay, so this is how we move the changes which we are making to our application through multiple environments. Okay, and the changes which we are making, the data which has been contained in one environment is not exposed to other. So here we can see we have all the details, right? But this is a development. This is a development live. So let me go ahead and access the staging live. Okay. So here, let's go ahead and access the staging live. So we have added data to the development live, but when it comes to staging live, it's a separate environment. Here we can see we don't have any data associated to this environment. So this allows us to handle multiple data. So the developers may use a set of data, and the testers they wanna try the application with a different set of data to find out whether the application is responsive generally to all the kind of data, and the production will have the active data so that we don't have to touch that data for either production or testing phase. So that is how the environments are created and they are self-contained with each other. Okay. So now let us get into the settings. Okay. Before getting into the settings, let us get into the logs section. So all the actions, so let it be the integrations or any workload triggers which are happening, all those actions can be viewed back from the logs. And each and every environment has its own set of logs so that we don't confuse one environment's log to another. Okay, we can easily manage. So if we get into the development and if there's any failure happening with respect to a particular workflow, we can simply see that and fix that before even sending it to the stage. And stage has its own set of logs where they can understand what are the actions which has been done and what point that if any issue occurs, at what point that issue occurred into the system. Okay, and same production has logs. If the end user is saying, see, I'm facing so and so issue, we can go ahead and check that issue and we can give appropriate remedy for that. Okay. uh, so let us go ahead and understand the settings. Okay. So this settings is the very major change which we have created. Uh, only the development and staging area will have the settings. The production will not have any settings. Only the development environment and staging environment is having settings. And both of them have almost similar features. Only they are controlled to that particular environment. So let me get into the settings and we'll see. The first one which we are seeing is the demo user. I'll show what a demo user is. Let us get into the, let us configure a demo user here. Okay. So let me select the application. First, we have to select the demo username. We have 5 demo users as of now. So let's go ahead and choose the permission set. So I'm going to say I'm going to give only read permission to this particular demo user. Okay, and I'm going to select the user, and we came into the settings of the order management application. So and I'm going to add one more demo user 2, and I'm going to give the right permission and give the role, and we can have the demo users. Okay. So now if I get into the development access, so this is the development live access, right? So let me reload it. You can see earlier when we used to test multiple permission sets for the application, right? What we'll do is we'll have multiple test accounts and we'll be logging into each of those test accounts. We'll check whether the application is behaving properly with respect to that particular user. And let us say we are having 5 different permission sets. We have to have 5 different demo accounts, and we have to make sure we are managing all those demo accounts perfectly, right? But in this case, so since we have configured demo users for the development, we can go ahead and see how the application is responding to these permission sets. So there are 2 demo users. One is having the read permission and another one is having the write permission. Okay, so let us go ahead and view this application as a one with the read permission. So if I am having only the read permission, I will not have access to the forms, or I will not be able to add or manipulate any data into the form, right? So let me go ahead and add view it as a demo user. So here you can see I'm not able to access the form, and the only things which are available to me are the report, and I will not have any access to the manipulating functions. I cannot edit, delete, or duplicate the records which is available, right? So I don't have to switch over to a different demo account. I can simply start doing my process from here. If I get into the demo user 2 who is having the right permission, you can see all the forms are being accessible to me again. Okay, so this saves us enormous amount of time during the development, while so we don't have to maintain multiple sessions active, and we don't have to get into those sessions and say, okay, so this is session belongs to this person, and this is the permission set. So that all those complex processes have been controlled to, or all those processes have been made very easy with the by bringing in the demo user. So far, we have 5 demo users associated to each. Environment, and the production has its own set of demo users and staging has its own set of demo users. Okay, so the next one we have to take a look at is the notification section. So the notification section, we can send mail notification, SMS notification, push notification. We can simply disable those, or we can send it to the person who has logged into the system, or we can select a particular user. Okay, we can select a particular user and send notifications to that particular user every time a change has been made, or every time there's a incident happened. And we can also have a application specific, where in the workflows we may have defined a few users, and the mails will be transferred to those users by default. Okay, and let us understand. Uh, So now we have an idea about how the environment works, how the uh, how various stages works, and how the demo users works. So what if I want to understand everything about a particular application in a single place? We used to have do that in settings, right? So the same can be achieved here. We can get into solutions. In solutions, we have the option called summary. So in order management, we have the option called summary. If I get into options, we have the option called summary, where we can see everything about this application. Okay, here we can see we have three environments associated, and the development is having some changes. We have a version in stage, and we have a version in production. So we can access the settings and logs of production from here. Okay. So we can also see who are the users who are associated to this particular application, and if we have configured any portal, we can view that portal configuration from here. If not, we can go ahead and create new. Okay. And if we have a mobile application associated to this application, we can view those mobile applications from here. And the next part is we can also control the signing option for this application. For example, so we take step by step. This is the location where we can change the application name, and this is the location where we can change the application URL. Okay, so we can simply change the final end of the URL, and the URL gets updated. And then we have the option called signing using. Okay, so we used to have this concept called federated logins, where we can log into Zoho Creator account without Zoho accounts. For example, we can log in using Google's. We can log in using Yahoo, Google Apps. We also have the option for Facebook. So we can choose using which account you want the users to log into this application. Okay, and we can also decide if we want to show the federated login to the users or not while they are trying to sign up, whether we want to allow them to sign up into this application through different different services other than Zoho, or we have to strictly restrict them to only the Zoho account. Okay, and we also have the option to say, okay, do we want to show the sign up link or not? So if we say no, I don't want to show the sign up link, we can simply say no, and we can click on it. Okay, so these are the changes. This is all about the summary of the application. We can simply get all these informations in one single location. And if you want to understand this in user level, okay, we can simply get into users, where we can understand what are the applications to which this particular user has been associated to, and what are the roles and what is the influence in which this particular user is, so that we can easily manage the user with multiple environments. Okay, so coming to let's get back to the presentation. Let me give you a small quick recap about what we have discussed so far. Okay, with that we'll be reaching to the Q&A session. So when we are talking about solutions, we have three options. One is analytics, application, and flow. Application has been supported by Zoho Creator's low-code application builder, and analytics has been supported by Zoho Analytics low-code application builder, and Flow allows us to build integrations. And again, Flow is a low-code integration builder. Okay. And coming to environments, we discussed there are three environments: development, staging, and production. and only development and staging has settings associated to them. Production doesn't have any settings, and every environment has its own set of log associated to it. Okay? And only development has edit option. So using the development edit option, we can get into the edit mode of the application. We can access the settings of the application as well. Okay, and coming to the environment. So this is the screenshot of the environment where you can see multiple applications are being managed in multiple stages and production. Okay, and if we want to publish our application, we have two options. We can either publish our applications to stage or publish our application to production. So if you want to move a particular version to production, first we have to move that to stage, and from there we can move that to production, and that is the only process. And we can select the application to move to stage from development, and this is the entire development cycle. We create application, we develop it, and from there it has to move to stage, and it has to move to production. Earlier we used to have this concept called sandbox where we used to publish it component by component, but now we have brought in the component as well as the environment level publish. So talking about the development environment, it is mostly involving the developers, and this is for the development process. We may have admin and super admin for mediation. This environment is not accessible to the end users. This is only for the developers, and we can have multiple permission sets associated, and all these permission sets can be checked, or all these permission sets can be verified using the demo users. And the same when we are talking about staging, the staging environment is used to test the application internally before releasing it to the end users. We can have multiple versions in the staging, and each version can be tested. And when we are creating a version, we have to define whether this version is holding a major change or a minor change. Okay, and we can test the versions without disturbing the production environment as such. So we discussed about how the data is confined to each environment. So we can make sure that there's not much impact happening to the staging, much impact happening to the production environment. Okay, so production, it is accessible to the end users, and the users who are accessing the production will be already pre-configured with permission sets, and based on the permission set, they will be able to perform the tasks which are only allowed to them. Okay, and only the last published version from the stage will be available in the production. Production cannot hold more than one version. Okay. And coming to the solution, how we discussed, Zoho Creator has evolved itself from application building to solution building, right? So coming to solution, which these are the entirety of the solution which we are having. We have the option to build an application, and we have the option to add it to environment to make sure the development process goes smooth. We have the option to publish the versions to staging and production, and we can have major updates and minor updates, and based on the user permissions, we also have the option to check the demo users. Okay, and coming to the business process creator, we had a detailed session on Zoho Creator Blueprint a few weeks back. So the same, we can establish a new blueprint or business process automator inside Zoho Creator. And if I have to take you through that, the development edit. So if I can get into the workflow, you can see the blueprint section here. We can configure our own blueprints, and these blueprints can also be pushed to multiple versions of Zoho Creator. Okay, and so we can automate the process visually. We have multiple stages, like before the transition is happening, after the transaction is happening. We can also trigger delete scripts based on the stage which is happening, and we can set the demo users. So the demo users, as we discussed, we have two set of demo users. One is for development, and another is for staging. Okay, so these demo users are contained to those environments as such, and we also have the notification setup and other processes. So thank you all. Thank you once again for spending this time with us. And with this, we are coming to the end of our session. If you want to reach out to us, please do write us at partner-solutions@zohocreator.com. or partnership at zohocreator.com or partner-support at zohocreator.com.